Okay, let's unpack this really foundational piece of modern digital defense today.
Hmm.
We're taking a deep dive into security operation centers, SOCs.
Right.
It's a part of cybersecurity that, well, it's often misunderstood, I think, but absolutely critical.
It really is.
And we're drawing from some really comprehensive material, looking at what these centers are, why they matter, and importantly, how they're actually built and operated, in the real world.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I find, is watching how these, seemingly abstract concepts, things like system security,
Right.
how they become really tangible, crucial operations, the kind that protect organizations literally every single day.
So what's the goal for the listener here?
Well, our mission for you by the end of this deep dive is really to give you a crystal clear picture of how organizations defend themselves.
In real time.
In real time, exactly.
Yeah.
Spotting threats, responding swiftly, and you'll see why this goes, far beyond just the technology involved.
Mm-hmm.
It should equip you with that foundational knowledge of SOCs, kind of providing an essential shortcut, maybe, to understanding how these digital defenses are structured and managed day to day.
Okay, so when you hear Operations Center, I think a lot of people, maybe their minds jump to spy movies, right?
Yeah, the war room vibe.
Exactly, the high-tech room, that giant wall of monitors, analysts looking super intense.
Mhm.
And look, while a security operations center, a SOC, it definitely has elements of that.
Sure.
The real picture is, well, it's a lot more complex and, frankly, more vital.
Absolutely.
At its core, though, any operations center is fundamentally just a dedicated group of people, right? A team interacting with data, with information, with each other, all focused on a specific goal.
Precisely. Now, many of you are probably familiar with, say, network operation centers, NOCs.
Right, keeping the phones working, the web services online.
Exactly, keeping those services running smoothly.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've heard of emergency operation centers, EOCs.
Those only spin up during a crisis, though.
Right, they spring into action only during a crisis. It's not a full-time, ongoing operation like a SOC or NOC.
Okay.
But it's really crucial to distinguish a SOC from these others because, yeah, they share that general operation center idea.
Mm-hmm.
But their mission, the SOC's mission, is uniquely focused on security.
Okay, so if NOCs keep the lights on, basically, and EOCs handle crises,
Mm-hmm.
what about the actual threats themselves? Is there like a specific center that just zeroes in on understanding those?
Now that's where it gets really interesting. You're talking about the Threat Operation Center, or TOC.
Right, OC. Okay.
Yeah, this center is primarily focused on the threats, characterizing them, figuring out who's behind them, attribution.
So intelligence gathering.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Creating situational awareness, developing mitigation strategies. Their main job is often intelligence gathering and then disseminating that information effectively.
Right.
And, in a bigger organization, a TOC might even be specifically set up to research things like fraud or other specific business risks, often using, proprietary tech to do deep dives.
Interesting. And you also mentioned MOCs, Mission Operations Centers.
Right, MOCs. Think of those as bringing together a whole bunch of different skills, but all for a single purpose or event, a specific mission.
Like a project team, almost.
Sort of, yeah. They form for a planned objective, and then afterwards they might disband completely or just scale back to a core crew.
Got it. So all that context brings us squarely to the Security Operations Center, the SOC.
Exactly. And the concept, it shares some DNA with a NOC or an EOC, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it is laser focused on system security. And it's not just like a nice-to-have feature.
No, it sounds critical.
It really is. It's an important, almost indispensable part of deploying and implementing any kind of modern technical infrastructure.
So what's its core job then?
At its heart, a SOC's job is pretty straightforward. Slash the time and the damage from cyber attacks.
Okay.
Attacks that exploit systems, degrade them, or just plain wreck the stuff needed for normal business operations.
And doing that effectively requires...
It absolutely demands effective real-time monitoring and, just as important, consistent tracking of how incidents are progressing.
Right. You need to know what's happening as it happens.
Precisely. And a truly effective SOC, it needs enough people, an appropriate number for the size of the business and its responsibilities.
And they need to be ready.
Always ready. Ready to respond effectively, efficiently, whenever something happens.
So when we talk about the overall purpose and mission then, boiling it down, it's really about providing that real-time kind of 360-degree view into an organization's security status.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. Ensuring critical systems are protected the moment or as close to the moment as possible that incidents occur.
And it's not just about reacting right. It's about process.
Absolutely. It's about executing agreed-upon protocols and processes with unwavering consistency. That's key.
Consistent.
You've got it. Fundamentally, SOCs are charged with that continuous responsibility, monitoring, managing all aspects of the enterprise in real time.
So no matter how it's set up, big or small.
Right. Regardless of its specific configuration, the SOC's ongoing role is always monitor and manage potential threats, analyze them,
Figure out the risk level.
determine their risk level.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then critically, either recommend or actually execute the necessary remediation actions to protect the company.
And it needs to work well.
And it has to be effective, efficient, and crucially measurable. You need to know if it's actually working.
Makes sense. And when it's really humming, when it's mature, the SOC is basically painting this detailed live picture of the organization's security posture.
Exactly. It's leveraging tools built specifically for security,
Yeah.
but also sometimes other valuable tools that maybe weren't even designed for security initially, but offer incredible insights.
Okay, but you mentioned other centers like NOCs, TOCs.
Yeah.
How do they all work together? Because it seems like a SOC couldn't possibly do everything on its own.
That raises a really important question, doesn't it? How do these specialized centers collaborate for a truly robust defense? And you hit on a critical point, something our sources really emphasize. A SOC cannot operate alone. It absolutely needs partners to be successful.
So teamwork makes the dream work, even in cybersecurity.
Pretty much, yeah. In many larger organizations, a thriving SOC works hand in hand with the NOC, maybe an EOC, certainly TOC if they have one, maybe an MOC for specific projects, or just other relevant departments. It's really an ecosystem of defense.
It's fascinating because thinking about how companies grow, most probably don't build a SOC on their year one roadmap, right?
Generally not, no, unless their actual business is offering security as a service.
Right. Most start with basic security, maybe just the firewall on their router.
Sure, the simple stuff. Everyone has some security from day one, usually.
But clearly, there comes a point, like a critical juncture, when a company should be thinking, okay, we need something more formal, whether that's a small internal team, a big enterprise SOC, or maybe even outsourcing it.
Absolutely. There's a definite tipping point. And our sources detail this really interesting 5-phase journey of growth and maturity that a SOC typically goes through.
Okay, walk us through that. What's phase one?
That journey usually starts with the technology phase. This is often where, maybe one or more IT folks are simply tasked with controlling and managing the existing tech they have.
Just getting a handle on what's there.
Exactly. The primary focus is just understanding their area of responsibility. And it's also usually where the first installations of new security-specific technology begin.
Okay, so starting with the tools, then what?
From there, you move into the organizational phase. Now, most of the basic security equipment, it's known, it's inventoried. This phase often involves the initial training on these security tools.
Getting people up to speed.
Right. But sometimes for individuals who might not be fully qualified or experienced yet in security specifically. And the source material actually notes this can be, and I quote, a very troubling thing for an organization if it's not handled carefully. Really highlights that human element early on.
Yeah, you don't want untrained people managing critical security tools. That makes sense. What's next? Phase 3.
After organizational comes the policy phase. And this isn't just about dusting off the existing IT security policy.
Oh.
No, this is where the SOC really starts to develop its own internal policies, specifically for controlling and governing the configurations of the devices it manages.
Getting granular.
Very. Modifications are made to ensure devices align precisely with that policy, that they're doing what's expected. And crucially, a primary policy developed here is for communication.
Communication. How so?
The SOC must establish a formal procedure for reporting information security events. Who needs to know? When? How? Getting those points of contact right for incident response is vital.
Because great tech doesn't help if the right people aren't alerted quickly.
Precisely. If communication breaks down, the whole defense can falter.
Okay, policy. Then we
hit the operational phase. This is where it really starts to come together,
Things are working.
Yeah. Systems are configured properly, they've been tested, they're demonstrably working well. There's ongoing activity now to integrate tools, maybe ticketing systems, refining processes to make the whole operation smoother, more efficient.
So it's running like a machine.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
A SOC is considered operational when it's consistently getting the expected results, and rigorously following those established processes.
And the final phase. You said 5 phases.
Right. Finally, we reach what you could call the pinnacle, the intelligence phase.
Intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this phase, a SOC has developed the sophisticated ability to actually ingest information from external sources, threat feeds, research, etc., apply that intelligence internally to their own environment, and then utilize it proactively and appropriately.
So looking outwards to defend inwards better.
Exactly. And the utilization and application of this kind of intelligence, well, that's precisely what can truly set apart different SOCs. It elevates them from being just reactive to being predictive.
Wow. Okay. Those phases really map out that journey from, like, basic IT tasks to a sophisticated, proactive defense force.
That's what an evolution.
It sounds like a massive undertaking, though. But once a SOC is operational, running smoothly, what are the fundamental pieces, the building blocks that make it truly effective?
Good question. Our source material highlights 4 core pillars here, really foundational blocks: people, processes, tools, and intelligence.
Okay, let's break those down. People first.
Absolutely. And there's a quote in the material from David Nathans that really hits home. Your most valuable resource is your people.
Can't automate everything.
Not even close.
Yeah.
The human element, the expertise, the intuition, it's paramount. You absolutely need skilled people.
Okay, people. Pillar 2 is processes.
Yes. Processes. These are the systematic methods the SOC team uses. How do they detect emerging threats? How do they determine the scope and impact once something is found? And how do they respond effectively and quickly?
So the playbook, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For each type of incident, its type needs to be clearly established, described in detail, assigned a priority level, and have clear tasks outlined for what needs to be done.
Got it. People, processes. Next is tools.
Tools, number 3. Equally vital, of course. This covers the software and the hardware the SOC uses for that continuous network monitor we talked about, for detecting future incidents, maybe based on patterns or anomalies, and also for assuring the organization's quality control and workflow, like ticketing systems, reporting dashboards.
Makes sense. And that brings us to the 4th pillar, intelligence.
Intelligence, yes. We saw how mastering intelligence marks that most mature phase of SOC growth.
Right, the pinnacle.
And it's also a fundamental building block from the start, or at least it should be. The source breaks it down into 3 really vital types. Yeah. First, there's strategic intelligence. This provides the broader context and attribution. It helps inform big-picture action. Think about who might be targeting you and why. Geopolitics, industry trends, that sort of thing.
To why?
Then there's tactical intelligence. This offers more immediate clues, but often without that broader context or attribution.
Like what?
Like a specific malicious IP address that's active right now, or a new malware signature, things you can act on quickly, tactically.
Got it. Block the IP, update the signatures.
Exactly. And finally, there's operational intelligence. This is where you take that strategic context and attribution, the who and why, and you directly apply it to activate specific actions within the SOC based on tactical clues.
So connecting the dots.
Precisely. It's the difference between, say, merely blocking known bad IPs reactively and actually anticipating who might target your specific organization next, based on their known methods, their motivations, and the current tactical indicators.
That sounds like a huge advantage.
It is. That depth of understanding, applying all 3 types of intelligence, is really what separates the good SOCs from the truly great ones.
Wow. People, processes, tools, intelligence, those are the core blocks.
That's right. And as we consider these building blocks, there are some crucial kind of real-world lessons that tie them all together.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, things like become informed, not overwhelmed, which is pretty relevant to our chat today, right? Trying to give you that insight without overload.
Definitely.
Another key lesson is know when to ask for help. It goes back to that collaboration point. SOCs can't do it alone.
Right, knowing your limits and partnerships.
Exactly. And finally, a suggestion to use USM, Unified Security Management, to broaden impact.
USM, Unified Security Management. What's that in simple terms?
Yeah, for those maybe less familiar, think of USM as kind of your security command center. It's often a platform or a suite of tools that tries to bring together all your diverse security tools and data.
All the different signals.
Right, into one cohesive view. It helps you see the whole forest, not just the individual trees that are on fire. It broadens the SOC's impact.
Okay, that makes sense. Integrating everything.
Right.
So pulling this all together, what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've taken this deep dive into the world of security operations centers. We started by sort of deconstructing the common ideas of what an operations center even is.
Right, getting past the movies.
Yeah. Then we zeroed in on what a SOC truly is, understanding its crucial purpose. We walked through that step-by-step, 5-phase process of how one is typically built and matures.
From technology to intelligence.
Exactly. And finally, we examine those foundational building blocks, people, processes, tools, and intelligence that really make a SOC effective.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, a functional SOC,
Right.
It really isn't just some technical department tucked away somewhere.
No.
It's more like a living, evolving digital immune system for an organization.
That's a great analogy.
It's this dynamic system, right? People, processes, intelligence, all constantly adapting to protect against a threat landscape that is always changing. It's all about proactive defense, real-time awareness, and that drive for continuous improvement, making sure those digital systems stay resilient.
So here's a final thought to leave you with, building on all this. What stands out to you about how these insights into SOCs, the structure, the purpose, the evolution, how does that challenge or maybe confirm your own understanding of digital security? And maybe think about how you might apply that principle we mentioned. Become informed, not overwhelmed, not just to cybersecurity, but maybe to other complex areas in your life you're trying to get a handle on.